So let's take a look at this game between Rock Ranger and this 1400 player on chess.com. So we're coming out with this bishop's opening, hitting the f7 sweet spot. Those are the recommended replies there for black, because that's soft now. So that's a soft target. You want to go for that target. And the parallel target there is this one. So white really wants to get this king side cleared quickly so that he can castle, maybe. Not maybe, for sure, because this looks like this game's going to open up big time. D3. D3 is the preferred move. Look at that. Securing that bishop. How interesting. Worth trying. Magnus plays D3. A good move there, I think, too. Because you're just in case this comes over there, you're going to be attacked. So hang on a second. If he comes in now, it's going to be too late to defend, to protect that bishop. What happens if the bishop comes there? If this comes out now, the bishop will be unsafe. So something's wrong with this move, actually. This also impedes the development of that knight. But Stockfish doesn't mind it. White's still got the edge. And I guess that was White's plan all along. Let's see. No. All right. So now black comes out. Oh, I see what White's plan was. Sneaky. Sneaky. I wonder if it's a bit slow, though. I wonder if it's... See, that's why he wants to prepare that, because he knows what's coming. Yes, and then there. But you just don't have the knight out to take advantage of that. See, the plans are... It's a nice idea, but you really want to have the knight there. Because then if that comes here, and then that comes there, then the bishop goes back there, then the knight comes here, then you can hit. So, yeah, that would be... I think that would be the better way to take that plan. To execute that plan. Yes. He doesn't care. See this? Stockfish does not care. So that's interesting. Or, you know, the best form of defense is counterattack. And what kind of counterattack? You're looking for the counterattack where Levy calls it danger levels. So which counterattack, whose attack is stronger? Who has the more potent threat? So this knight taking that pawn is a threat. We can assess the threat at, let's say, a value of 1 threat. That threat, however, is a value of like 4 threats. Okay, so this is the more powerful threat. So that's what you want to look for. You're being attacked. You're being attacked. Do you have a more powerful threat on the board? Don't be scared. You've got to assess it in an objective, neutral manner, emotion-free. Much easier said than done, but that's the idea. Now, what's going on here? This does not, that weakens that, right? And this is already under attack. So now all he needs to do is hit it again. Or, yeah, and now you've got an issue there, and you're going to have to defend that. So then you're going to need to come out with the queen. The queen's no good. Queen's not good in that situation. Your knight is not going to be any good right now either. It wouldn't be good anyway. And so you would have to bring the rook back. So then you've lost 2 moves. You've lost 2 tempi. So this is not a good idea. Although Stockfish hasn't dinged you for it. Okay. He wants to get this back now because he feels that coming. Also because he knows, yeah, no, that's what he's expecting you to do that. He's expecting the opponent to do that, so he wants to prepare. So when you go here, then that goes there, you're attacking the bishop, you bring the bishop back. You don't want to trade this light square bishop for that knight. That knight's not so good. See? It's not good. It's a useless kind of knight. It's doing nothing. It's got almost no potential. It could go there eventually, but then, yeah, and there would be okay, but you see that's like 16 moves in front. So his best move is to trade off. That's what he wants to do. He wants to trade off those two pieces. So you don't want that trade, so you want to get out. That's what Stockfish is thinking there. All right, so you go for the center, nice idea, but then, okay, okay. Now you see that rook is vulnerable, although, you know, and then where's the rook going to go? Like, if he does do that, it's attacking on that rook, you'd have to bring something out. You have to bring out either this or this, and then that would be pinned. Nothing's bad, nothing's serious yet, but you can see these are all the little minor threats that are in the position. So yes, good, all good here. Yeah, he wants to stop the incursion of that knight because of this. That pawn is weak. This is called a weak pawn. It's only being defended by the king. So you've got to be aware that that's a target. Nope. Nope. White has got the initiative right now. So you want to maybe stop his threats. He's also got that. Then that knight would be pinned, which would make that weak. And then you've got two attackers on that d4 pawn and only two defenders. So what he's trying to do is remove the defensive capability of one of those defenders. So he's removing the defensive capability of that by threatening this pin. And then that's only protected once by the queen. And the queen is not a good protector. This is kind of irrelevant. It's not relevant to what's actually going on the board. This is not a threat. He's not threatening anything. He's not threatening to bring the knight there. If the knight were to come there, what's he got after that? You see? So that's not a threat. You've got to look for where the threats are. Threats are here. Why? Because of this. There's potentially another threat here with this guy. That's what you want to be looking for. Where's the possibility of his threats? Yeah, and that's irrelevant to what's going on. Okay, sorry to say. Now he sees that. Now how do you defend that? No. No. You've lost the thread of the game. You've lost the thread of the opening, of what's actually going on in the opening. Yeah. Okay. Did he really need to do that? He doesn't need to do that. He's also not seeing. He's not seeing it as well. I mean, look, I'm one to talk, but I'm looking at what Stockfish is analysing here, and I understand what's going on from that viewpoint. But yeah, I mean, I know in the game, it's a lot harder to understand this in the game. But I mean, this is pretty straightforward stuff right now. So yeah, this is just about knowing the stuff, remembering it, and keeping it in mind. Okay, so what's he want to take with? He wants to take that bishop. He wants to take the bishop. He wants to keep the bishop alive. So you say, well, he doesn't mind actually. Both of them are fine. So he takes with the knight. He hits your queen, because your queen's a bad defender, remember? Can always be attacked. That's the problem. You want to come back because he was threatening that. Threatening that frog, so you had to bring that queen back. Now you see you're losing moves now. You're losing what's called tempi. One move equals one tempo. Now you've moved once, twice. So there's two moves that you've made and nothing has changed in your position. So you've lost two moves whereas he's now got time to make those two moves. So this is the concept of keeping the initiative, keeping the tempo in your favour. Wow, look at this. Also hide the bishop. Wow, what a move. That's an engine move. There's no human on earth that would do that. Wow. No idea. Okay. But useful. Useful to remember that. The little hidey hole there for the bishop. So if that were to come there or there, no, he's thinking about that. That hits there, and then this is already here. So that means that that doesn't hit with an attack on your bishop, and then you don't lose tempi by bringing it back. Fascinating. Is this no good? Why did you do that? You want to get rid of this guy, but you see, you should have gotten rid of that guy with that knight. The knight's the better one. This is no good. Well, why is it no good? Because if he takes, so you've got to calculate. If he takes, what are you going to capture back with? There's only two things you can capture back with. One, the rook, and the other with the pawn. Both are bad. Because if you take with the pawn, then you've doubled your pawns. And then that's where it's kind of weak. You know, that's where it's going to be weak. You won't be able to push that anymore. So if that comes out here, then that knight can sit nice and comfortably there. Queen's going to come out there, and it'll be checkmate here. Okay, so you can't take with that pawn, so get that out of your mind. You'll have to take with the rook. But then the rook, danger levels, can get hit immediately with that knight. And then that knight will be in a beautiful spot because it'll be looking right at your king. And then you've got that queen coming up right behind it. And then the knight gets there with tempo. So the knight enters by attacking your piece. You'd have to move it. Now, where are you going to move it to? You're going to have to calculate that as well. And you're blocking the bishop. So now your bishop can't get into the game. Oh, sorry, your bishop's out. That's why we had to capture back, right? But that's how you can make that assessment. You can say, all right, what's being attacked here? What's he going to do? What does black want to do? He might go for this pawn break. No, he can't yet because if that square is well and truly under white's control. I think white just wants to develop. I mean, you know, let's just ignore this engine moves. There's no one's going to see that. But white could potentially just develop and think about that, you know, and then clear that file for the rook. So that if that queen does move, where she wants to go out here, then at least you've got a rook bearing down on that. So then you're pushing this pawn up to dislodge that knight, and then that pawn there comes under threat. So that's how you can kind of make your plans. It would be an example of making a plan that way. Yeah, I mean, Stockfish's second idea, which is a bit more human-like, is this, to block the possibility of that knight coming in to make that attack. And it's not hard to see, like you can just see, okay, there's my weak point. He's going to be wanting to go for that weak point. How's he going to do it? He's going to need to do that. How do I stop him from doing that? That's an easy way. Oh, he should have taken you on the spot. I mean, goodness. He should have seen that right away. And then where we're going to go, firstly, let's go. Oh, he wants to go here first. Let's put him there. So, yeah, I mean, why did he do that? So then maybe he, interesting, he's stopping, sorry, he's stopping that. Look at all of this crazy stuff going on there. And then that queen can come there or here, and it'll have threats all over white's position. So that's kind of what he's looking at. And look at this, now he wants to come out this way. Well, he doesn't necessarily want to do any of these things. He's just keeping all of his options open so you can play all over the board. And then you never know where the attack's going to come from. That's how I would read it anyway. Okay. Yeah, no, you should have taken immediately. And get rid of that dark bishop. Did you? No. Okay. Oh man, you left the bishop hanging. Wow. Okay. Sorry about that. What happened? I didn't see that either. Let's just have a quick look. What's going on? There and here. Wow. Bishop's hanging. Whew. That's a game ender right there. And but it's okay if you do that, because that's his dark square bishop. His dark square bishop is arguably more valuable than your light square bishop. What would have happened if you took... Yeah, he doesn't take your light square bishop. He wants your dark square bishop. Because if he does, then you're going to get that out of there. Wow, you've got a very nice bishop there. So this bishop is worth a lot more than this one. And that's why he takes that one. Now you get out of there. Look at that. Stockfish saw all of this like 7 moves ago. That's why he wanted to do this. He saw this line a long time ago. This was one of his lines that he was calculating. Alright. He didn't see that your bishop was hanging. Wow, you guys. Although I do this as well in my games, but man, this is it, right? This is what is going to raise your game easily, is just by noticing hanging pieces. Pieces that are just there for the taking, low-hanging fruit. Look for those on every single move, because players at this level, anything under 1500 on chess.com or maybe anything under 1600, they're going to be leaving hanging pieces often. After that, they intentionally leave them hanging, occasionally unintentionally. All right, he should be taking, and he's still not taking. Yeah, he's only 1400. But chess.com 1400 is not bad. Okay. Okay, you found a stockfish move. Well done. All right, man. Okay, so now what's he going to do? Comes back to the right place. Now you've got to get rid of that bishop. You've got to get rid of it, especially now. It's looking right down the neck of your king. Oh, man. Brutal. What's it doing? It's not doing anything. You're right in the thick of the action now. Now there's just, you know, the bombs are coming down across the city. The missiles, the guided missiles with the freaking nuclear warhead, not even submarines, but destroyers. Queen destroyers right there at the gates, at the dock gates, at the city front gate. You've got to get rid of them. This is not enough. And you're blocked out by your own pawn. We could arguably we could say that that's a bad bishop. And there it was pretty good. You're looking at the enemy. So keep him there. Don't touch that, because now if he moves that, this becomes undefended. Or it's defended by the queen, whatever. But that becomes pinned. That pawn is in a pin right now. That's good. Keep that. And then you can use it. You might be able to use it later after these pieces start to trade off. You get rid of these knights and things. The queens come off the board. You've got a pinned pawn. And then maybe this knight, could the knight make its way over there? How's the knight going to get there? Let's say that rook moves. I don't know how the knight gets there. Forget it. But anyway, yeah, needed to get rid of that enemy submarine. Missile. Man, it's still on the board. See, he's not playing all that well either. He needs to come in and hit that rook. Because, oh, hang on. Yeah, you've got 1, 2 defenders. And he's only got these. 3 on that. Why does he want to do that? Oh, that's interesting. Ah, this is pinned. Man, this is pinned. This pawn is weak. That's the thing. Forget about that bishop. This bishop here is not on the board. It's pinned. It can't move. So the only defense that you've got on that f4 pawn right now is that rook. Not easy to see. Easy to see now in the game. I get it. But that's the kind of thing you've got to look for. You've really always got to look for these lines of attack on the kings. They always play a role at some point. Keep an eye open for those. He misses it, see? He missed that. But what a beautiful, isn't that beautiful? That's just a thing of beauty, man. Actually, not there, it's there. Check, because this is pinned. That's pinned, so he'd be threatening this. Man. Not sure what he wants to do there. He just doesn't see that it's pinned. He's thinking, yeah, he wants to get lots of attacks on it, but he just doesn't need to because he doesn't notice that he isn't noticing at this time that it's pinned. Yeah, no, you just got to get rid of that bishop so you can get yourself out of this horrific pin. That's an interesting point. This is a guard. This is guarding that square. So as soon as you do that, you release that guard, and then that square defended becomes an amazing spot for an octopus knight. It's actually got that name, an octopus knight, because it's got all 8 squares under its control. Very nice. He goes there instead. What's he doing there now? Maybe it's now that he sees the pin. No, he's just, yeah, now he sees the pen probably sort of too late. So he's got that. You've got to be very careful. There's checkmate there. You're lucky you've got 2 pieces on there. He's attacking a rook. Do you get the rook out of the way? Yes, okay. But he doesn't like it. Wow, look at that, man. That's nice. Does he see it? Yeah, he saw it. Whoa. Very nice play there by your opponent. Good one. Yep. Oh. Yeah, why did Stockfish? I mean, you know, it's not bad because he's switching between the two, but he liked that one first because it's got the idea of this and this. Just keeping an eye on everything and supporting the bishop. Interesting. Whereas that doesn't look as good. Just aesthetically, it's not as good. See? That looks better. Here, here, here. And by aesthetically, maybe in terms of the activity that your opponent's pieces have got. Sorry, the activity that your pieces have got. So this maximizes the activity of the queen, supporting the bishop. She's got all of this rank as well still. She's also looking at that. She's taking care of the rook. The rook is undefended. The rook is an unprotected piece right now. That's a weak piece. That's not hanging yet, but if something were to attack it, although you're lucky, he doesn't have any light squared bishops to attack it. It's on a light square right now, but it's definitely something that a strong opponent would notice. That rook is hanging. So would there be a way to get it? I mean, if you can get rid of that pawn somehow, deflect it, make it go there, or make it advance for some reason, then you've got an attack there, and you've got an attack here. You know, that's kind of what strong players would notice. That's weak. It's undefended. That's undefended. This is only defended by that knight, which is also defending that, so that well, okay, getting carried away there, but that's unprotected, that's unprotected. You've got two unprotected major pieces on the board right now in your camp. So one of the things that you could try and do with your games is always try to move your pieces to places where they are defended or they are defending. They are defending another piece, they're networked. Keep your pieces in a network so that one piece is looking after another and all your pieces are connected. Always have that principle in mind. Oh man, what is going on? Yeah, this is not looking good. This is not looking good. Why? What is he saying? So if you go there, then you take, then he's going to break. You don't want to take. That's the point. If you take, then it opens up this, which then means that these two pieces cannot move because that knight will be unprotected. Oh wow. Okay, let's get back to the game. Where is it? Man, this bishop's in a bad spot. Okay, it's protecting that, but it should be attacking here, you know. See, now that that's moved, this is weak. So you could actually be going for that weakness somehow. See, there's the rook. The rook is there. So what you could have been looking for is you exchange those bishops off, get the bishop off. That doubles his pawns, by the way. If that bishop was still there, that'd be hit already. And then your rook would be right there, right on it, and then you'd have an attack, and you wouldn't be on the back foot right now. See, you're on the back foot. He's got all of his pieces advancing on you, and you're on the back foot. So that's why you've got to, when you set up your attacks, you've already got one piece with one part of the attack already there, so don't change it. It's a light square bishop, so you don't really want to have your pawns on light squares unless the bishop is in front, in which case he would be in front, so it might be okay. You want to set up the nexus, set up the connection. So there's the connecting point. So if the bishop was there, the connection point would be with the rook there, and then let's just say that, I don't know, how you're going to get the queen onto the light squares. And the queen's up here somewhere as well. Okay? Or maybe the queen's there, and the rook is lifted. So now you've got queen, rook, and bishop. And that's how you set up your attacks. He finally takes it at long last. Alright. And he wants to push because he's threatening this. What's the threat? Let's have a look. Yeah, see the threat there? There's the threat. So he's threatening this. Discovery on the queen. Yeah, you didn't notice his threat. You did something yourself, but there's nothing there. You don't have any pieces. You don't have any pieces there except for maybe that. I mean, sorry man, but there's nothing behind it. Yeah, so now he executes his threat. Did you see it? You didn't see it. Oh man. And we wouldn't do this because what it does, yeah, don't think of it like that. I know what you did. Right now, the pawn is looking at this guy, all right? But don't think of it in terms of the pawn is going to take his pawn or the pawn is going to move. It's that same principle from one commentary before. I was saying don't do anything. Leave the pawn where he is. Because now what that pawn does is he sets something up. So let's just pretend that these are not there. You get your queen up here. Now you're threatening checkmate because it's protected. That's where it's protected by the pawn. If he was to move this forward, then your queen comes up there and you're threatening mate 1. So the pawn, the function of the pawn is not to take, it's to set up the platform or set up the point to create the weakness, to set up an outpost. Yeah, to set up an outpost, but this is not an outpost. This is something else. Can't think about how to call it right now. But you're just setting up the attack. Right? You would not do that. Why not? Because guess what? Black's got you as a shield now. And this is a well-known shield. Right? We use the opponent's pawns as a shield. That your pawn can't do anything now. And he's very happy to keep his king there. There's no problem for him. And there's no threats anywhere. You know, there's no threats anywhere. That's not a threat, because that's not there. Okay, I hope this all makes sense. It should be making some sense. And I know in the game it's harder to see all of this. But these are fairly simple concepts and easy ones to apply. So yeah, he just takes the queen. So again, you were just losing the thread of the game and just not seeing what he was doing. Right? So when he moves, what's he doing? That's the first thing you've got to look at. What's he doing? What's he trying to do? What's he threatening? Right? He's threatening something. What's he threatening? He's got a threat there. Has he got any other threats here? He's got some pressure there. This is a possible check that he's got, but it's covered right now, so no problem. What else has he got? He's got this. What else has he got? He's got this. Lining up attacks against your major pieces. Similar to this idea here, where the bishop was there lined up with that king. His bishop was there lined up with your king. So these things don't become active immediately. They're just set up in place so that they can have the potential to activate. So there's the activation right now, and you didn't see it, okay? So you've got to think, what's he trying to activate? What's his threats? What's he doing? That's what he's doing. Got it. But now it's too late. Mosquito get in here. Wow. Sorry about that. Yeah, not strong enough. Back rank weakness. Back rank is weak. Because of that rook move. See, that rook's not doing anything. It's not doing anything at all. Sorry. And he's got all the initiative now. Now he can just do whatever he wants. See? So he's Stockfish is hanging on, and he wants you to just come in with that attack. Yeah, that's fine. Drop the queen and it's over. Okay, instructive game. Thanks for sharing it.